Yo, it's your boy Invincible, and I am here chilling with a hottie, but she's not a dancer. She's something else. I don't know what else she was doing. I was trying to figure out what else she was doing, but you're tuned into another episode of the Gentleman Club Diary, and I got the sexy, and she is sexy. She was twerking before she got on camera, and then now she's on camera. She goes by the name of Jocelyn. What's up, Jocelyn?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Because you came,
I'm good.
you
I'm
came a
good.
ways, right?
Yes, I came far.
Yes, and I had been trying to get you on for a minute, so it's actually kind of cool to actually get you
Yeah,
on.
huh? Finally.
Yeah, finally. And see, what's dope about this one is me and you actually never worked together, so we don't. This is our first time meeting, so
Stranger danger.
stranger danger,
Just
stranger.
kidding.
Yeah, right. And for those that don't know, she's actually a bartender in a strip club.
Yes.
Bartender in a strip club. So, what made you want to become a bartender in a fucking strip club?
Okay, so I got into like the serving industry when I was 19. And I didn't even want to be a bartender to begin with.
What you want to be? What you want to be?
I just wanted to be a server. I was a waitress
You're a
at
waitress?
Hooters. Yeah, I was a waitress at Hooters. And I just never wanted to be a bartender. But my manager was like, when you turn 21. And I was like, no. And he started training me like through paper when I was 20. When I turned 21, that same weekend, he threw me behind the bar. And I messed up everything. Everything that I had learned, I forgot it. And then, yeah, like I had just been bartending since I was 21. But for some reason, I was very curious about bartending at a strip club. So there was one day where someone had posted, like one of the promoters had posted that this club was hiring bartenders, waitresses, servers, bottle service, hosts, like everything. And I was like, hey, are they still looking for bartenders? And he's like, yeah, they just sent me this right now. And I was like, cool. I got there in 10 minutes. And then they were like, all right, come on Tuesday. Tuesday I went in. That was my first shift.
Man,
That was my first strip club ever.
that's crazy because I know we never met, but we never actually personally met.
Yeah.
But we did meet because I walked into that place that you're talking about. You served me a drink.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you
Oh, okay.
served me an old dudes, and I was like, "What is this, baby? Take this shit back." You were like, "You don't like old dudes?" I was like, "Nah, I want some shit." You gave me an old dude, so I felt a little disrespected.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I did feel
Why don't I remember
I don't know why you
this?
gave me old dudes. Why did you give me an old dudes? I'm just
Why did I? What did you order originally?
shit. I wanted some tequila on the rocks, like straight. I said
Honestly, now that I think about it, I probably confused you. Like I was probably thinking about this customer's drink, and then I was like, oh,
and
I
I'm gonna be
switched
real. I
it.
just fuck with you.
Wow. I was like, I probably switched it because
Now I'm
it
messing
happens.
with you. Okay, so you're working at Hooters, so it's kind of the that's cool vibe, and then so you went to the Holiday. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That was the first
that was
first spot.
that's my first strip club ever.
Okay, so like I said, I work with a lot of different bartenders. And one common thing that the bartenders will complain about, which I totally agree with them, because a lot of the bartenders will say that they'll get a bottle service, they'll get a $500 bottle, and they'll put zero on the tip. Is that a common thing?
Yes, because we don't have automatic gratuity there. So yeah, it'll happen where maybe I always give customers benefit of the doubt. So maybe they think that the gratuity is added, so they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna just put 500 and that's it," and they don't tip. But if they're like just getting a regular drink and they don't tip, I'll be like, am I bad at serving you this beer or what?"
Dang. So you tell them?
I will make it known.
Yeah,
Yes.
you make it known. Have you ever
Yes.
dealt with a customer like, oh, okay, this is something, what I remember. And I'll tell you some stories after I ask you this question. But what would happen was a customer would order a bunch of drinks and he would try to skip out on paying.
Oh no, not
That has
not
never
on my
happened to
watch.
you?
Not on my
No?
watch.
Where he tries to
It's-
skip out?
No, okay, no, it has happened. Not at the club. At the club, it hasn't happened to me. When I was working at the restaurant, yeah, because it's different. At the restaurant, they sit there and they pay after. At the club, you have to pay and then I serve you.
And you serve, yeah, but you know how they leave a tab open.
Oh,
or
if they
whatever.
leave a tab open, we have to get their ID and their card. So
Well, this would happen a lot at the club. They would order some drinks, get a little drunk, and then they'll just disappear.
you know what? No, that has happened. But when it happens, I try the card.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
We did that one time. A customer, right? And his tab was $160 something. It might have been, let's just say 162.
Yeah.
And so we tried his card, it kept getting denied. And it was, so we said, all right, let's try $150. Denied. $140. Denied. $120 denied. So it went down to like $80 and it got accepted.
Wow.
We're like, hell yeah. So
Insufficient
we
funds.
did we started doing more and more and started doing like, we're gonna get this motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that has happened. Another thing, has this ever happened to you, is we had a customer take the tip money out of the tip jar.
Oh, heck no.
That's never happened?
No, the tip jar's behind me.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
man, we had that happen. And I don't want to say what happened to the guy, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
You reminded me though. There was one time where a customer left the tab open and he did leave. Luckily, I worked the next morning too. So I closed 2 a.m. I was in back at 12 and the guy showed up. He's like, I
Sure.
left my tab. And I was like, yeah, you owe, let's say 162. And he was like, yeah, charge it. He's like, wait, let me unlock it first.
Dang.
I was like, okay. So he unlocked it, paid it. And I was like, here.
You say you got to leave a tip too.
No,
You
he
gotta-
did. He did
Yeah?
too. I was like, damn, you're a real one. There's still good people in this world.
Yeah. No, there is. You know what? I know when we talk about customers on the show that sometimes customers might not be painted as the best type of people, but there's some good customers. We do
Yeah,
have some really
yeah.
good. Then we have some really shitty ones. So I don't know. It
Yeah.
kind of balances out. But what about like just customers overly drinking and wanting more drinks? How do you deal with that?
That's the thing too. Like as a bartender, there's like laws and stuff that we have to follow. We have to take certain like certification classes and everything. So we have to. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, to have to kind of, in a way, take care of all the customers, because you have to be like, I'm serving you a drink, I'm serving him and him and him. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you already had 5 drinks, he had 10, he had 3. You know, like I'm not gonna remember all that, but I just have to like read you guys. You know, like, oh, he's stumbling a little. His eyes are kind of low already. They're red. Let me just chill. If he orders another drink, I'll be like, here, take this water. In the meantime, I'm busy, but I'll get back to you. But
Okay.
yeah, it is hard.
What about the bartenders getting drunk?
I personally do not like to drink behind the bar.
Okay, because look at me as a manager. What this happened many times. Not one time, not two. This happened a lot. This happened about
You get drunk?
75% of the damn time. We would have the bartenders drunk in the night shift,
Oh.
especially on the weekends. On the weekends,
Yeah.
they would get drunk where they couldn't finish. They were just so drunk.
Yeah.
Or they
There was one time I used to work at a like a lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one day where I got super drunk. That was the first and last time I ever got that drunk while working, because I don't even remember leaving. Like I woke up the next morning and I was like, when did I get home? Like, where's all my tip money? Like, what happened to my tables and everything? So the next morning I called my manager and I was like, hey, like, what happened? He was like, yeah, I got you an Uber. Like, you were drunk.
You were fucked
I
up.
was like, where's my tips? Like, where's? And he's like, I took care of everything. And I was like, what about the tables? He's like, we closed. Luckily, we closed a little bit after you left. And I was like, that's crazy. I was like, I don't remember anything. And he's like, well, we'll see you tonight.
Dang.
So
Yeah,
then I was
yeah.
like, yeah,
So
I'm
you
never doing
you never
this.
got overly drunk as a bartender?
Because you're dealing with money. Like, it's scary. I don't want to be liable. Like, oh, I lost $2,000 because I was drunk, you know?
Now, there's been a couple girls that they were like short, like $400 or $500.
Yeah,
No one ever really like crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
But they were short a great amount of money.
Yeah,
So
it's-
you working
it's
in a
scary.
strip club, what is it very different compared to working at a place like Hooters or something like that?
It is because, I mean, obviously it's strip club and then it's like a family restaurant. But I think the difference that I like is that I do make a lot more. I make a lot more money in tips. The other difference is probably like just drama. Not drama with me, but like I hear all the
There's
drama.
drama. There's a lot of
Yes,
drama, right?
like
with,
I hear all the
dancers.
girl drama. I
So you
hear.
never had nobody set tripping? Because when I met you, you came in here set tripping. You were like, let's see my back, homeboy. She was like, you better not be from this. And I was like, nah, baby, I'm from LA County. We're good. So.
We're from the same barrio. I'm just kidding.
Nah, you were tripping,
No,
though. You were tripping. Okay, but
I think the only thing that's happened at the strip club that I don't like is probably like the tipping. Like, okay, I make good in tip, but a lot of people trip on it. Like, it's weird because they'll be like, oh, I guess because they're so busy throwing money, they're like, oh, I don't have to throw it anymore, you know?
you
it's
feel like the bartenders, they feel like the bartenders don't deserve to get tipped.
Yeah, okay, no, let me correct it. I've heard dancers tell their customers, like, you don't have to tip her. Like, girl, I'm serving both of you. Like, yes, you do. That's the only thing I don't like. Other than that, I mean, I still make my money, whatever, but that's the only thing I don't like.
So is there any kind of weird situations that you have saw working at the holiday?
With the dancers, well,
Or just with you? Shit, just with you, just
with
as a
me,
bartender, yeah.
yeah, no, there was another that you mentioned that I'm remembering too. There's another customer too that every time I would be talking to a customer, he'll be like, Joss, come here. And I'm like, yeah, you want another Corona? He would drink Coronas. Damn, that's probably a burn.
No,
He
that's
drinks
cool.
Coronas.
Okay. We talked about the Bud Light drinkers, right? So there's a stereotype about Bud Light drinkers.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, the stereotype on Bud Light drinkers is that they don't spend nothing. They're cheapskates.
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
Well, maybe they're cheaps.
Okay,
They're cheaps with the dancers.
I witnessed it. The Bud Light drinkers, the pitcher drinkers.
We don't have pictures.
Oh man.
So that cancels out.
That was fucking the
does.
worst. The pitcher drink. Oh my god. Okay, the Corona drinkers. Let's hear the
Corona drinkers
What's
are
up with the
cool.
stereotype?
Damn, let me go down the list of beers. Okay, so
Okay.
let's see.
Let's see what is the stereotype
So
on drinks.
we have the Bud Light drinkers, and I feel like the Bud Light drinkers, it's the older crowd kind of.
Are they cheap?
They're not cheap.
Bud Light or
Bud Light
Budweiser?
drinkers, we don't have Budweiser.
Oh shit.
Bud Light drinkers are not cheap because I feel like most of the Bud Light drinkers, they'll drink their Bud Lights, whatever. They don't get buckets. They drink individually, I noticed. But they'll be like, oh, give me also a whiskey neat. Give me a black label on the rocks. I'm like, okay.
So they
Bud
order
some.
some. This is
more.
single. This is not
Yeah.
buckets of beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corona drinkers, Modelo Pacifico, Michelob, White Claw, they order buckets, which is cheaper. So they're the cheaper ones.
Okay, but how are they with just in general as far as tipping?
They tip good. Bud Light drinkers are good tippers. Some bucket drinkers are good tippers. I'm gonna be specific. Pacifico bucket drinkers are good tippers.
They're good tippers. All right. So shout out to the Pacifico drinkers.
Bucket.
Hey, we have one here. There's a Pacifico drinker
he
right
at?
here.
Where's he
He's
at?
over there. Pacifico
Is
drinker.
he a good tipper?
I don't know. You got to invite him to the
He's
club.
Pacifico, so he has to.
Yeah, right. What are you?
805. You look like an
Guinness.
805. Honestly,
He does
you
look like 805.
You look like an 805 drinker.
805 and Guinness drinkers. 805 and Guinness drinkers.
So we don't have Guinness. We have 805, and I feel like 805.
What's the stereotype? Like,
I feel like the 805 drinkers aren't good tippers.
oh shit.
Because all they drink is 805 buckets. Like, and I don't know. I've never seen someone that drinks 805 get like a bottle. I don't know.
So
I'll see someone buy a bottle and they'll be like, "Oh, bring us also a bucket of Pacifico and a bucket of Modelos." I'm like, "All right."
Hey, shout out to him. He's
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
He's throwing it up. He's representing for Pacificos. Okay, so I could see that. I could definitely.
Yeah.
I do drink 805s. I keep it real, and I like Pacificos too. I'll be
Yeah,
real.
see, but you drink
Yeah,
Pacifico
but
also.
if I was drinking 805s on that day, I probably wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
But maybe after I drink the bottles
Yeah,
or drink a
yeah.
bottle, I might. Okay, so how do you know when someone's a baller, straight up baller? You like this dude's a baller.
Damn, you know what? That's hard. Because I could see a guy walk in all bust down, chains, designer, and they'll just be like, "Oh, give me Henny on the rocks." And that's
Hey,
all they drink.
That's weird. Do you think this shit's fake or something? Because I've actually witnessed that where people go in there. I witnessed a dude coming in there with a whole crew, and they're all wearing designer, right? They're all chained out, blinged out, and he gives me a card that's what do you call it? The EDD card. What do you call it?
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
with the he gives me one of those cards, and I'm like, damn, you really gonna buy? And his card kept declining.
Most of the time, it's not all that. It's
And I'm
rare.
like, I can't do that. I can't, And then he's getting mad at me. I'm like, bro, your card's declining. Don't get mad at me.
I feel like it's kind of rare to see someone that's like all shown off like that is gonna spend. So there's a customer that goes and he'll be going in like all sweaty, musty, crusty construction work, and he spends stupid money.
So the construction
Stupid
workers
money.
spend.
No, I mean he just looks like he does construction. But
Okay, because
yeah.
we just talked to the guest prior. We were talking about we one time had a mechanic come in, and he had a mechanic came in, and he was all full of oil, and he got a dance. and he left a bunch of oil handprints on one of
Ew.
the.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew, I would die.
Yeah. So have you ever witnessed any crazy customers? Because I've
Yeah,
had.
there's a customer to this day that goes in and he just stinks.
He stinks.
Yeah, like armpits. Like he's. But he
I
tips
might
good.
know that person.
But
Is he?
is that him?
Well,
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No. I might know him because we had this guy that we called him Onions. And
Ew, that's exactly what he sounds like.
yeah, he does. Is he
Yeah.
bald headed?
He's not. Yeah, he goes in after work, smelling stinky, but he tips good.
And he gets
He drinks-
dances. He gets dances.
He does get dances. He always comes in, drinks his vodka cranberry, and he tips good.
Damn, see? So you can be smelly and still have a good time. You don't got to
Yeah.
put on deodorant or nothing like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what kind of customers do you actually like? What's your favorite type of customer? I'm not just talking about money. I'm just talking about in general.
I'm gonna say the customers that know that was gonna sound stupid. I was gonna say the customers that know that I'm bartending. Like they know that I'm busy. They know that I'm working, so they won't try to. I don't mind talking. Like if it's slow, then I'll stop and I'll talk to you. I'll have a conversation, whatever. But if it's busy, don't try to stop me to have a whole conversation. Like tell me what you want to drink and wrap it up. Let's go. You know, there's customers. I just had one this weekend. I literally kicked him out because he kept telling me like, Joss, come here, and I'd be like, yeah, and he'll be like, just give me your hand, and I'm like, bro, like no, I'm busy right now, and I'll tell him like, you need another drink, and he's like, no, just come here, and he's going like this to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll go right now.
Should have been like, give me some money. And
Yeah, so then I told him finally towards the end. That's exactly what I told him. I was like, I'm not gonna reach out to you for another $2 tip. I told him, and he's like, really? You're gonna be like that? And I was like, you see how busy it is? Like it's busy. I'm taking care of you guys. I'm taking care of the servers. Like I gotta take care of the I was gonna say bartenders, the dancers. Like I'm busy. He's like, I just want to talk to you. I'm like, not right now. Like we were talking earlier. We had a good conversation. It got busy. Now tell me what you want. If you don't want anything, I'm gonna just keep going with my routine. Like, let me do what I gotta do. He ended up getting kicked out because I was like, dude, he's just standing at the bar taking up space, you know?
Hey, you know what was interesting about that, right? Subject is that bartenders. I never realized this until I worked with the bartenders. I never realized how much they get kind of like hassled over stupid shit. Like just they want people, and I've worked behind the bar. I'm not a bartender, but I've worked just trying to help assist and trying to, give somebody. If somebody said I want a Jack and Coke, I could do that. It's easy.
Yeah.
So I would do stuff like that or give them a beer. But people want things like instantly. They don't have like the customer service is just not there. So how do you deal with just bad customer service?
I honestly will tell customers, like if I'm busy and they're like trying to rush me, I'm like, you gotta wait. Like, or say you're standing there and there's a customer that just walked up and then there's another one that's been standing there next to you and they're all trying to order. I seen you first, so I'm gonna serve you first. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care how rushed you gotta take your shot. It's in order. Like, even though you guys are all scattered all over, I know who's here and who isn't, you know?
So you already kind of have that in your mind.
Yeah.
Like that person's first, second, third.
Yeah, like it's happened before too, where a customer's like, wait. And I'm like, no, like he was here. The guy all the way over there was here before you. Let me get him first and I'm gonna get to you. One thing I do is I acknowledge everybody. Like even if you just walked up, I'm like, I got you. Hold on. I see you. All right, cool. You know, and it gives them a little reassurance that they're there. It lets them know that I'm going to get to them, you know?
Got it. So how do you keep track of when there's 20 dudes at the bar and they're all trying to, hey, you here? How do you keep track of something like that?
Your shirt or how.
What if you're the mechanic guy? You'd be like, that's the mechanic guy?
That's
the
mechanic?
guy that cuts the grass?
He
that's
wants...
the guy that's tall as fuck? Like you kind of...
Yeah, so there's customers that... Okay, so I'll have like a regular. And then I'll have one that just walked up, one that's been chilling. You just know, like, I don't know, you just know. Like, since you're behind the bar, you kind of see everything. So you just...
Oh, you know what has happened to me before? This happened to me, and this happened when I first started because I was a rookie and I didn't really know. I did know, but I didn't. But what had happened is, have you ever gave the wrong change to somebody?
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know, I've caught myself. I've never been like, oh, damn, like I gave it to him, he walked away.
I gave somebody $100 by mistake.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
But I
time
found
too.
him and I knew who it was.
Yeah.
And he was trying to act, oh, no. And then after he goes, oh, yeah, and he put it out. Yeah, you're right.
I accidentally gave someone the wrong debit card.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I was like, this is your card, right? And she was like, yeah. And then I was like, all right, here. I was like, you left it right here at the top, at the bar top. I'm not gonna let you just leave it there. She's like, oh, okay, thank you. Walks away. The next girl came and she's like, do you have my debit card? And I was like, no. I was like, I don't have your debit card. And she's like, yeah, I gave you like a blue one. And I was like, yeah, I gave it. I was like, I don't have one. And she's like, yeah, my name is this and so and so. And I was like, let me check. So I'm like looking at my little like thingy, and I'm like, no, I don't have your card. Like I gave it back to you. So then I was like, once it was busy, but it kind of slowed down for like a little second. I was like, that's not that girl's debit card. So then she came back and she was like, you have my debit card. Like you never gave it back. And I was like, I think I did. I was like, you know what? Honestly, I think I gave it to somebody else. I was like, hold on. And then I came back and I was like, is that your homegirl over there? And she was like, no. And then I was like, she has your card. And then she was like, what the heck? She got all crazy. And I was like, no, no, no. I was like, I got you. So I went up to her and I was like, do you have that debit card? And she's like, yeah, I have it. I was like, can you give it back? She's like, why? And I was like, because it's not yours. And she's like, yeah, you gave it to me. And I was like, what's your name? And she told me her name. I was like, read the card. And she's like, but you gave it to me. And I was like, but that's not yours. And she's like, well, you should have paid attention. And I was like, girl, if you know it's not yours, don't be trying to,
trying to jack
that's
it.
shady.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And I told the manager too, because I was like, dude, I messed up. Like, I'll always acknowledge my mistakes, whether it's the change, a drink, or that I took a long time or I forgot your drink. I'm always going to acknowledge it all the
So
time.
what happens when you fuck up on somebody's drink? Because it has happened. Normally what would happen if somebody was to come to me and say, hey, your bartender she made my drinks bad, or she overcharged me. I would get this a lot too. They say they overcharged me, or they're trying to hustle me on drinks.
Yeah. Oh, I get that all the time.
So I say, you know what? I got you, bro. I got you on. So, I mean, have you been accused of trying to hustle somebody on drinks? Or?
Yeah, so there was one time where some guy came up. There was two guys standing. Well, obviously there was a bunch of guys, but there was two guys standing next to each other. One had been ordering like buckets. And then the one that had just showed up, he ordered like, I think like 12 Henny shots, or I don't know what. And then I was like, oh, your total is this much, which was more than what was supposed to be. But that was that other guy's amount. So I just kind of like mixed them up, So then he was like, why is it that much? And I was like, well, each one is $12. And he goes, yeah, and I only had this many, so it should be X amount. And I was like, okay. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you gave me this amount of change. And I was like, oh, you know what? I told him, I was like, I messed up. I was like, my bad. I was like, that was his change. And he's like, why are you trying to play me? I know the owners. And I was like, I know the owners too. Like,
that's a common thing too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody, what does everybody when they say they get caught? Not. I mean, in this circumstances, he was in the right, but
yeah.
I'm saying, why does when certain things happen, they say, I know the owners. I know.
They take it. They think it's gonna be like a threat. If I messed up, then yeah, okay. I'm like,
so you admitted that I messed up. You messed up.
Yeah. If I really did mess up, I'm like, oh damn, the owner. Let me, Either way, I'm gonna correct my mistake. But when they tell me that, I'm like, oh yeah, I know him too. Like,
yeah. So you mean to tell me you have never got drunk working behind the bar at a strip club?
No.
Because you know why I say this? Because I think all of the bartenders I have worked with have been pretty drunk. No, maybe one or two. One of them because she didn't drink. She stopped drinking.
Maybe I've showed up drunk.
Oh, you showed up drunk?
I showed up
and
drunk.
how was your work experience showing up drunk?
It was cool. I was getting things done, I guess, because I didn't want to look drunk. So I was just like cleaning and just doing a bunch of stuff. But when you're drunk and it just kind of dies down, you're just like,
yeah, you kind of, yeah.
That's how I was. So at the end of the night, I was done.
You're done? I had this one girl. She would get so drunk in the middle of the shift. So then I would have to come and like help her.
Oh yeah. No.
And I was like, fuck. And now in my head, I was like, listen, get her the fuck out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
And but you know what? She would do good on sales. Like she would have like customers always. Do you have customers that like come to see you and shit?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I have my regular customers since I've been working at Hooters since I was 19. That they followed me from Hooters, from like the two other bars that I worked at, to the strip club now. They don't be throwing like hundreds, 200s and singles, but they still tip good and they still visit me and they'll be like, hey, are you working? We're gonna go visit you. And I'm like, yeah, pull up. Like, it's my regulars, they take care of me. So yeah.
Got your regulars. So what do you say? What have you learned from being a bartender at a strip club?
It's a lot more patience. You have to have a lot of more patience than
at a strip club.
Yeah, than at a restaurant. But I'm gonna say it is a lot easier.
Why is that?
Because how do I, okay, so I used to work for like corporate restaurants, you know, so they would be like, oh, customer's always right. There was one time where, yeah, there was one time where, like, actually it's happened several times where like customers mess up and they even tell me like, oh, it's always about the customer. And I'm like, please, like, not here. And there was one time a manager was like, nope, not here.
So at a strip club, the customer is not always right.
No. No.
Why do you say that? So at a strip club, a customer is not always right. Why is that?
Because customers, I guess at a strip club, they think they have more, like, say so, I guess.
Because they know the owner.
Yeah,
supposedly,
they know the owner.
Supposedly,
Yeah.
they know the owner.
No, I don't know. I guess because they think they could get away with a lot more when it's not true. I've had more disrespectful customers at a corporate restaurant than I have had at a strip club.
For real? That's kind of rare because at a strip club, I witnessed the worst customers.
No, I mean, yeah, but it's different because, like, okay, damn, how do I make it? Okay, so yeah, I have witnessed really bad at strip clubs. I've witnessed bad at corporate, but at corporate, they side with the customer.
So you can kind of just say, okay, well, I'll hook you up with a drink. Bam.
Yeah, if a customer's super rude at a corporate, they're like, oh, here, let me give you a coupon, a gift card, you know? Here, they're like, oh, you're being rude because of this reason? All right, you got to go, you know?
Yeah, you got the manager. You tell the manager, we be like, no, you gotta go.
Yes.
They be like, I don't want to go. No, you're gonna go. We're gonna get your ass up out of here. We'll get you out of there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have witnessed that. But I think that customers at a strip club, they normally deserve to get kicked out. I'll be honest, they deserve. So have you witnessed any crazy episodes of anything happening with customers where they deserve to get the hell out of there?
I honestly love kicking customers out.
You do?
I like to tell them, like,
yeah,
if you keep it up,
you're gonna get out.
You're gonna leave.
So what's the rudest thing you've heard from a customer?
There was one time a customer where I guess she was already like drunk when I had gotten there. I was working the night shift, and she was already there the day shift. Mm-hmm. So when I got there, she had already been drinking, and she was like, oh, let me get another Henny pineapple. And I was like, I got you. Make her a Henny pineapple. And then she's drinking it. She's like, let me get another one. I was like, all right, cool. So I give it to her, and she goes, excuse me, I ripped.
It's cool. So she farted, but it's cool.
No.
Cut it.
She was like, let me get another Henny pineapple. So I make it, I give it to her. She's drinking it, and she calls me over. She goes, there's no Hennessy in here. And I was like, what is that? She's like, it's supposed to be a Henny and pineapple, but there's no Hennessy in there. And I was like, who made it? And she goes, the bartender. I was like, who's bartending? She goes, you. And I was like, it's Henny pineapple. And then she was like, but I don't taste it. And I was like, because it's Henny and pineapple. Pineapple is kind of strong and really sweet. Especially at a restaurant club, like pineapple juice, it's super concentrated, like, you know? So she was like, well, I don't taste it. She's like, add some more in it. And I was like, oh, you want a double? And she goes, no, I just want you to add another shot in there. And I was like, you want a double? And she goes, no, just add more in it. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, one Hennessy shot is $12. So since she asked me for another one, I was like, give me 24. And she's like, no, I don't taste it. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, just go ahead and finish it. And then whenever you're ready for another one, I'll pour you a shot. She was like, okay, give me a shot then. So I give her a shot and then a pineapple back. I give it to her. And she goes, I want it as a drink. At this point, I'm already annoyed by her. So I grab a cup of ice. I put it, and then I grabbed the 2 cups, and I poured it into one. And I was like, there's the Henny and pineapple. She's like, but I don't taste it. And I was like, well, then you must be drunk, and maybe I shouldn't serve you anymore. She got so mad. So then she started, like customers started coming up to the bar, ordering, and then she kept talking to the customers like, oh, that bitch, like, just talking, being disrespectful. So then I would go up to the customers, and I would be like, can you ignore her? She's drunk. Like, she doesn't know what she's saying. So then finally she's like, oh, I'm gonna call the manager. And I was like, let me call him for you. So then I call him, and then she was like cussing him out about me. And I'm like standing right there, and I was like, oh my God, you are not about to disrespect me in my face. So then I told her, I was like, why don't you just leave? Like, pay your drink and leave.
Hey, the gangster came up at her.
Honestly, it did.
Yeah, she said the LA where she said, see my back, homeboy.
The LA came out, so I was like, right. You're not going to disrespect me in front of anybody. Like, you're not, especially in front of customers that are trying to order.
What did you say? I know you're giving the non-explicit version.
So then I told her, I was like, keep it up, and I'm personally kicking you out. Dang. And she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, bet. So then I went up to the security, and I was like, if you don't get her out, I'm taking her out. And he's like, no, Joss, chill. He's like, just go back behind the bar. And I was like, all right, cool. So she's going and going and going, and then I told the security in front of her, I was like, if she gets any closer to you, I'm doing something. And then she's like in his face, like, and I was like, oh heck no. So I went around, and then the manager was like, all right, let me just kick her out. And I was like, all right, cool. Like,
damn. So if you mess with Jocelyn, the chola will
no,
come out real quick.
I'm not a chola. I'm like,
Nah,
no.
she's a good girl. She's a loving, good, abiding citizen.
Law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, law abiding. She pays her taxes.
With high socks. No, I'm just kidding.
she's a good girl. She might get crazy and slap
No,
you.
I have a lot of patience, but when it comes to disrespecting, like in front of other people, I won't tolerate it. Like I'll kick them out.
So you never been in a fight, altercation at work?
Luckily, not yet.
No, almost.
Yeah, well, not that time because she was drunk. Like, but that I think that was the one and only time that got me like, I'm gonna do it. Like, you know. But I was like, nah.
But you didn't do it. That's good. She's a Christian now. She don't want no problems.
I'm saved.
Saved. She's saved. She got the Holy Spirit in her. But yeah. So you know, this is a good conversation because I have yet to interview a bartender at a strip club, and this is a girl that I have not worked with, but now I want to work with her.
You should. Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna have all kinds of stories, war stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to thank you for coming through.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, I know you drove a long ways. Is there any shout outs, any disses to customers? No. You want to say no
dissing all the customers that don't tip.
Okay, she's dissing.
Shout out to the holiday.
Okay, shout out to the holiday. This is the first representative of the holiday, so shout out to the holiday, and shout out to Jocelyn because she came in here looking good, and
I'm just kidding.
Huh?
I'm like, just kidding.
All right, yeah. So once again, it's your boy Invincible. Anything that I didn't touch on?
Tip your bartenders.
Tip your goddamn bartenders.
Tip your bartenders because if you tip them good, they're gonna take care of you real good.
That's right, you cheapskates. Listen to me, cheapskates. And what's the worst drinkers? What's the worst? Who orders the worst stuff?
The ones that don't order anything.
That don't order nothing.
They'll just be like, give me a soda.
And Bud Light drinkers, you might be on the verge of being the worst.
Maybe 805s.
805s, and what else?
White Claws, maybe.
White Claws are the worst. All right, so yeah. So it's your boy Invincible, chilling with Jocelyn, and yeah, we had a good convo. I thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
And you are tuned into the Gentleman Club Diary, and I'm up in Audi, baby.
Gentleman Club Diary.